So, today we are going to talk about some fish that are widely misunderstood, that we have personal experience with, that we have different feelings about. I think it's really easy in this hobby to pigeonhole certain species or put labels on them that for some reason stick, even when they're not well deserved.
So first up, I'm going to talk about, I think I'm going to go with goldfish first,
It's a good one.
specifically fancy goldfish. And the issue I have, or I guess the problem, is that not only is the whole bowl thing, the whole unheated, unfiltered thing. I mean, goldfish don't really need a heater, but they definitely need filtration. But the size, fancy goldfish get a lot bigger than people realize. And so many times have I seen these in 20-gallon tanks, three, even four fancy goldfish crammed in these tanks. And honestly, I would not put a fancy goldfish in anything under a 40-gallon for one.
Even a 75, because these we're talking softball size fish. I think we see little 2-inch, 3-inch goldfish, fancy goldfish in the stores. People don't realize that, like many carp, they get much bigger than we anticipate.
Another issue I have with goldfish is people who say they can't be in planted tanks, which is just not the case. I've kept them in planted tanks many times. Now you can't do, super sensitive plants or small leaved plants. They're definitely gonna nibble on rotala and lugwittia, things like that. But there's anubias, there's sword plants, there's ferns, plenty of different kind of plants you can keep with goldfish. So when it comes to goldfish, just keep them in a bigger tank. Keep them with plants if you want to, and they'll do just fine. You won't have an issue with them.
Remember that each fish is different. You could have a goldfish that wants to eat everything green they see, and a goldfish that would never even touch it. So give them a chance. I'm going to start out with a bang here. Normally, I save not the best for last, but usually the most surprising or one that's maybe a little less common. Mormyrids. A lot of people have no idea what a mormyrid is,
It's an
and
elephant.
it's an elephant. They're made up by a large group of different types of fish, different species within that moniker. And I've kept several different types. I was very reticent at first to keep them because of things that I'd heard. They're super
Whew.
aggressive. All of them get giant. None of them are made for tanks. You'll never
Super
see them.
sensitive is what
They're
I've
very,
heard.
very sensitive. And like I often do, I bucked the tradition and the trend, and I just got them anyways. And I'm so glad that I did because I realized what amazing fish they are to keep. If you're somebody who loves cichlids or fish with lots of personality, Mormyrids are going to be very similar to that. They're pretty shy at first and they are nocturnal, so they kind of keep weird hours. But when they settle into a tank and you really get to know these fish, they are some of the most intelligent, inquisitive, interesting fish I've ever kept. And I think it's really sad that there's so much of a stigma because they're not that difficult to keep at all. Really, just do your research and be stable, have a stable environment for them. So enjoyable, so rewarding, and they're not even that expensive.
So next on my list is tiger barbs, and not tiger barbs directly, but what they've done to other barbs. And I don't even think tiger barbs are that bad, but obviously when we talk about tiger barbs in the hobby, go look around what people are saying, that they're super aggressive. And sure,
They can be.
if you buy three of them, they're going to be aggressive. But even without the aggression, I think they've kind of passed this buck to other barbs, and people just assume all barbs are this super aggressive tiger fish. And it's just not the case. There's so many peaceful barbs out there, a ton of peaceful barbs. But again, just hitting on tiger barbs, like most aggression, the larger the school, the less amount of aggression, the lesser amount of aggression, leaster, the leaster amount of
You
aggression
lessen the
there will
aggressive
be.
fish overall. You weed out the aggression with larger groups. I think
There's
tiger barbs get a really bad rap though, and they're not always bad fish.
Yep. If you keep 300 of them in an 800-gallon tank, you're going to be just fine.
They're gonna love life, and they're really not gonna bother anybody.
No, I just think there's so many other barbs out there getting a bad rap because of tiger barbs, and I think a lot of people are afraid to try barbs. And there's so many cool barb species out there. Give them a try.
I steered clear of barbs personally for a very long time because of a bad experience with tiger barbs. And once I took the plunge and tried a different species, a West African species, I was blown away by how peaceful and just amazing they were to keep. They were so kind to other fish in the tank. They were really beautiful. They spawned without us even knowing it. So you really should take a chance and not let these things not let these things deter. What is the word that I'm looking for? Deter. Not let these things deter. Give barbs a chance, you guys. Just give them a chance. Next up, gobies. Gobies are one of the ultimate oddballs, in my opinion. They are a weird little fish. Not everybody is attracted to little noodles in their tank, but I personally am.
You should be.
You should be. I think a huge misconception with these guys is that they're super sensitive. And while I have experienced personally that they do need a clean tank, clean water, don't let your water quality deteriorate. Do your water changes on their tanks. They do come from fast flowing water most of the time. And with fast flowing water comes very clean water.
And highly
oxygenated. So I think where people might confuse somebody or a fish being sensitive, it's really just you need to understand their care. But once you understand their care and you provide it for them, which a lot of times it's not even difficult, you get to enjoy these gorgeous little gems because they literally look like little jewels in your aquarium. The crazy little behavior that they have, they're so enjoyable to watch. They behave so differently than most aquarium fish that I'm sad for people who miss out on them. So don't let any mythology about these fish scare you away. Definitely give gobies a try. There are so many different types. There are so many different colors and sizes. You couldn't not find one that you liked.
I would like to say that I personally avoided gobies for so long because I was like, I want a fish that's going to live longer than 3 months. And boy, I couldn't have been more wrong. I've now been around probably 30 different goby species, and they've been nothing but a joy. And the other thing I come across still, we've got a couple videos on gobies on this channel, and I still get comments all the time of, well, that's a brackish water fish. And they're not brackish. There's brackish gobies out there, but most of the ones you're going to see in the hobby are full fresh water. The caveat is they need brackish or salt to reproduce, but they spend their whole adult lives in fresh water. So the next one on my list kind of grinds my gears a little bit because I hate how these fish are just lumped into this super hardy, which they are, fish that you can use to cycle your aquarium. They're cheap. They'll live through the ammonia and the nitrite spikes, and that is the white cloud minnow. Man, do these fish get criminally underrated in the hobby. There's longfin variants, there's gold variants, there's all kinds of new color morphs coming out as we speak, and they're much more than just a dollar seed fish, if you will. There's competitions like white cloud competitions on who can breed the most during the summer. It's a really cool fish, and I hate that it's just like, hey, just throw this white cloud in there and cycle your tank, and then who knows what happens to it after your tank is cycled, but people usually move on. But I'm telling you, for like outdoor tubbing, get some gold white cloud minnows and you'll be blown away. They're absolutely beautiful in the natural sunlight. Same with all of the white clouds. I cannot believe how this fish has just been brutally underrated and just misinformed. Don't even do that to your fish. Why would you even put fish through the nitrogen cycle? It's
They're
not
not
necessary.
stepping stones. They're a staple in many aquariums and tubs. One of my favorite fish to keep is next on my list, and those are paradise fish or paradise gourami. They are gourami. They're anabantids. They can breathe air, technically. That right there should be enough to interest you in them. But for some reason, people think they are extremely aggressive. And I'm not saying that they can't tend to be a little jerky, because I know many people who've had them and they have a bit of attitude, but we've kept many different types. There are different species of paradise fish, so you have options there, which is another great thing. Not only are they a very hardy fish, not only are they a fish that can live without a heater, which to me is a huge plus.
Very big plus.
Any fish that you can keep without having to worry about heat, they can actually get down quite low and be very comfortable. They're absolutely gorgeous. They have very interesting personalities and behavior. They've been a staple in the hobby since the hobby began. Back in the day when people had their metal tanks and, horrible husbandry that fish managed to live through, the paradise fish was at the top of the list, and they survived it all and still looked amazing. And the fact that they're affordable, they're pretty much everywhere. I don't know why people let the aggressive moniker take over and keep them from trying such an enjoyable fish.
I don't know what it was for me, but anytime paradise fish came up, I just glossed right over them.
A lot of people do.
I was never interested in them, and then you brought them into our fish room, and I was like, wow, why have I not
Yeah.
tried paradise fish before? They're so fun, they're so enjoyable,
Yes, they are.
lots of personality.
So much personality. I think that's what surprised me the most when I initially started keeping them years ago. I couldn't believe how interactive they were. It's like a better betta, honestly. That's what they are.
Better splendens,
Hmm.
anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Better,
Like I said,
better splendens.
affordable, beautiful, hardy. Yes, they can have a little bit of
Easy to
attitude.
spawn.
Very easy to spawn. They can live in community tanks. There's another thing. Don't let people fool you. We have kept
Or a
many,
good outdoor tub fish.
many in community settings
Just
and in
saying.
tubs. So you can really do anything with them. And as long as you're providing them their needs, they're going to really reward you in so many ways.
For my next pick, I'm gonna say danios, and I'm gonna say this covers about 99% of danios. They have this reputation of being very frantic, very fast, very sporadic, which they are. She is not a fan of danios,
A
so
little much for me, but they're beautiful.
I just don't think
Beautiful.
that they're being kept right. I think they are all those things. They are frantic, they are super fast, they are food motivated. But when you cram 20 of these into a 40-gallon
It's
tank,
true.
it's very cramped for them. Even though a lot of them are just 1-inch fish, 1.5-inch fish, they need room to run. These guys are like the greyhounds of the aquarium hobby. Again, even though they're a 1-inch fish, I would not keep them in anything less than a 4-foot
I
footprint.
think people see them and think, oh, they're small. Many of them are small. They're schooling fish. A 40 breeder should be plenty because it would be plenty for XYZ tetra. But he's really correct. Even for a small fish or, a pretty small fish, they're movers and shakers and they need a lot of landscape to run about.
I mean,
So,
they've chugged a gallon of coffee before you even woke up in the morning.
yeah.
So
Turn the lights on and they've already been going for like 3 hours.
mhm.
So they're
So
very
it's a
energetic.
fish that really needs a lot of space. And there's, like I said, this is not all danios. There are some calmer ones in the hobby, but for the most part, your pearl danios, your giant danios,
Mustache Daniels.
mustache danios are very cool.
Yeah.
The rosy danios, which are one of my favorite, the orange fin, all kinds of danios.
Glow light.
They just need a lot of room to run. If you give them that room, they won't be, I mean, they'll still be swimming all over the place, but it'll look more cohesive because they actually have room to school. It's not like a slow schooling fish. They're very fast, very fast. So
If you had
give
like
them
a
room.
125 and you put 50
It would
Danio
be
in
so
there, it would
awesome.
be pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
I don't think this is the first time that these fish have been kind of put on lists.
We talk about them a lot.
We talk about them a lot. They make a lot of different lists in our fish room. Pufferfish. So pufferfish are, I feel like, one of the most beloved and mistreated and misunderstood animals on this earth. And I'm talking freshwater, brackish water, saltwater. I don't even care what type of puffer.
I couldn't believe how wrong the internet has been about
It
these
is
fish.
it is just a tragedy how they're telling us to keep so many puffers and how not only are we missing the mark, but I actually think in certain instances, like with pea puffers, we're really doing them a disservice. Most people think puffers are aggressive, period. There's no, that is the end of the sentence. That's the end of it. We don't care to learn anymore. I can't disagree more. While yes, there are ambush puffers that, probably aren't going to be kept in community settings for obvious reasons. But then again, you even run into some ambushes that they don't care and they just aren't interested.
Ambushers.
Is that what did I
You
say?
ran into an ambush. You got ambushed by the puffer.
Whoops. Well, it's rare that I misspeak, but I'm
That's
getting
why I got to point it
I'm
out.
getting very, very upset because of how puffers are misunderstood.
George is upset.
George is getting upset. So pufferfish are just so we don't take the time to really explore their behavior. I feel we don't give them a chance. We don't put them in different settings. We don't try different things. And I'm not saying with these fish you need to necessarily put them in a situation that's going to be a bad situation, but giving something a try to see if it works is the only way you're going to find out if it does. And we've tried things. We've tried things with pufferfish, specifically keeping them in groups and in community settings. And we've both been blown away by how things have turned out. Even with fish that are more aggressive, like pow abi, which are historically not known to be community fish or fish you can keep in groups. We kept three.
But we did.
We kept three for a very long time.
Three and a 40 breeder.
And they were
with other schooling fish.
very, very happy. We've kept the red eye red tails in groups in community settings with just groups of each other. Did great in both settings. I just can't believe that we're reading all this stuff that's like they're going to kill each other, they hate each other, everything's going to be horrible.
My Mabu puffer never showed any types of aggression. I have seen fahakas in so many community tanks. Now, I'm not talking about a fahaka puffer with a bunch of a 1-inch tetra schooling around. Appropriate size, so like 3-inch fish. And the fahaka puffers never touched them, ever. So I was definitely, this is another one I was guilty of. I avoided puffers for a very long time because I was like, oh, they're just going to kill everything. But it couldn't be further from the truth.
And then I brought a group of red eye red tails up and I said, look, they've been living together for a very long time and they were all male. That was the other thing. At that point, we added females later and it was even better, but a group of all males, and I had just read that nobody had done it successfully, that they just murdered each other, they attacked each other. We actually heard from a very trusted source that he couldn't even keep them in the same tank together because they were killing each other so quickly. And I just think it's interesting because if you provide the right setting, heavily planted tanks, lots of line of sight breaks, fed well, fed often, these fish aren't worried.
They want their territories.
Yeah, they want their space, but they're not worried if their needs are met. And if they don't have to fight others, if you don't put them in a situation where you know it's basically setting them up for failure, you could really learn a lot about these fish. They're so misunderstood. And I think the lore around them is so huge. People just love puffer fish, but they won't keep them. And if they do, they don't keep them correctly. So give certain species a try. Give it a whirl. See how it goes. Obviously, always keep an eye on things if you introduce a new situation or new fish to a tank, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
So there you go. A small little list that we've made of fish that are they just got a bad rap.
We don't understand these fish. We don't get it. I think that especially people that are newer to the hobby, they go online, they read things. And what else do we have to go off of? I mean, really, the forums and everything, Facebook, which that's terrifying. So careful what you read there. But you really have to trust your source. You have to trust your gut.
On Reddit.
And you really have to give things a try yourself. Let your own situation delineate how you feel about a fish.
There's our video. I hope you liked it. Let us know what you think and if there's any fish that you think are misrepresented in the hobby. I've got a whole nother list here, but to keep this video reasonable, we just kept it to a shorter list. So let us know. Use these discount codes and come check out a live stream every Monday 4 p.m. PST. We go live, answer your fish questions, hang out with other fish nerds. It's a good time. So check that out. Any final words?
Maybe just give a fish a try that you've been wanting for a long time, but that you've been too scared to take the plunge. If you can reasonably take care of it, I think you should try it.
You were supposed to say go buy fish.
Go buy weird fish that get bad raps.
That's your saying.
I know it's forced upon me all the time. I just think everybody should be buying fish. Just go spend some money.